Hello, welcome back to the Football Terrace. A very good morning to all of you. Big news breaking into the sort of social media platforms and across Europe last night and across this morning. We're going to jump into the story with a little bit more detail for you. And of course, the most important side of it, gauge your reaction, your viewpoints, and your opinion to this news. Please do us a massive favour here on the Football Terrace and hit that like button, hit that share button as well. And if you're not a subscriber, please hit that button. But also the little bell notification button next to it. That's the most important thing you can press, because that will let you know when we are live, when over the course of the summer. We're doing dozens and dozens a week, and we really do appreciate all your support, viewpoints, opinions, likes, and shares. So thank you. Now, Man United, of course, they're in turmoil. There is no doubt about it that the club is going through a major restructure. They are trying to address numerous cultural issues at the football club. They are trying to address an average squad. They have obviously a new manager that's in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and there's a lot going on. Paul Pogba has been the centre of numerous arguments, problems, and debate amongst Man United fans and the wider sort of footballing fraternity now for a long time. Is he to blame? Is he a virus? Is he the scapegoat? Are we too overly critical on him? There's lots of things out there that are said about Paul Pogba. My belief is that Paul Pogba is looking to leave Manchester United. I believe Real Madrid want him, and that is the news that we're hearing this morning. That Zinedine Zidane and the hierarchy of Real Madrid have instructed the player to hand in a formal transfer request, which some believe has been done by Paul Pogba. He has informed Ollie and, of course, Ed Woodward that he wants to leave Manchester United this summer. He wants them to take his request seriously. He will forfeit any bonuses that are deemed to be coming his way. I mean, the thought that any Man United player would get a bonus this year is crazy, but it's within their contracts. He wants to go to play in Spain for Real Madrid under the tutelage of Zinedine Zidane. And the interesting thing here I would point out first of all, and this is where the Woodward power struggle and my faith that the club is going and trying to restructure is waning thin, and I have absolutely no faith in the way this club is run. Paul Pogba, like many Man United players that are considering their future at the club, are not doing so because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is in charge. The reason that Pogba's looking to leave, De Gea isn't happy with the way the club is moving forward. Even the reason we have players like Rashford challenging the club in terms of wanting assurances is nothing to do with what the media is trying to portray, that Pogba and co have a problem with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They don't. The problem they have is the way the club is being run by the owners, by the board, and of course Ed Woodward. They're not happy with the culture. They're not happy with the principles. They're not happy with the sporadic, weird transfer purchases. They're not happy with the fact that they're almost treated like pieces of meat. They are there for marketing. They are there for commerciality. They are not there trying to create a football team that's brilliant on the football pitch. And I think that is clear for everybody to see. So let me put that out there first and foremost. The media will try and twist this. The media will try and turn this round and say that it's the players are questioning whether Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the right decision. They're not happy with his training methods. They're not happy with the type of person that he is. This is all baloney. The player's not worried in that regard. They get on with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They respect him. The problems that Manchester United have is that the players that are there, especially the guys that are in their mid-20s, late 20s, that want to go back to winning major trophies, do they feel confident that this Man United board can take the club forward? They can take Manchester United forward and move them on to the next level? That is what they're challenging. And I think they have every right in the world to do that. Whether you're Pogba, whether you're Marcus Rashford, David De Gea, it doesn't matter. You have every single right to challenge this football club. And the irony of Man United fans getting their knickers in a twist over this is laughable. How can you expect the players who have a limited time in their career to want to stay at Man United if they fear the same as you, that the owners don't care about the football on the pitch, Woodward don't care about the football on the pitch, if they're not letting football men, football educated people make the decisions around who is sold, who they keep, if they leave all their renewing of contracts to the last minute and leave people on tender hooks, if they're seeing good players leave because the club is renewing the wrong contracts and not the right ones, in what way, shape or form should these players not be thinking about leaving? And where this story becomes even more tedious and sobering is the fact that Ed Woodward is reportedly rejecting this transfer request, which has triggered a very unhappy reaction from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Now, let's put this out there. Ole wants Paul Pogba to stay. He wants Paul Pogba to be part of his team. In fact, he wants to build the team around him. Before we continue, please, everybody tuning in, smash that like button for me and hit that share button as well. It's the best way you can support us here. Ole wants Paul Pogba to stay. He wants to build a team around him. But equally, Solskjaer, like all managers, does not want to keep a player at the club who wants to be elsewhere. Doesn't want to have a player at the club who is handing in transfer requests. Fears for his own job by keeping a player here, or maybe a handful of players here, that don't want to be here. Woodward has told Ole that he will not sanction the sale. And the reason he doesn't want to sanction the sale, Ed Woodward, is because he's scared of how it will publicly look. He is scared of how it will make him look that the star player, the crowning jewel in this failed dynasty that Woodward has tried to build, is handing in a transfer request and wanting to leave. He's worried about how it will make Manchester United look. And the irony in that thought process, the stupidity in that thought process is mind-boggling. Absolutely mind-boggling. You do not keep players at your football club that don't want to be here. The reason they don't want to be here is because, Mr. Woodward, the way you run the football club. And your answer to this is not to address the root cause of the problem, is not to look at running the club differently so football becomes the most important, becomes the paramount focus of what you're trying to achieve, that the football is at its best. Rather than doing what the players want and what the fans want, no, we're not going to let anybody like Pogba put in a transfer request. We'll hold on to him for one more year. I'm not going to have too many stars leaving in one summer. It doesn't look good for us. Absolute nonsense. The club needs to rebuild. It needs to start again. And as Chris Gillespie says, I don't blame Paul Pogba. I don't blame Paul Pogba for wanting to leave. Why would the players want to be at a club that we as fans think is run like shit? Why? He doesn't owe us anything. He has a limited time in his career to play football. In 50 years' time, we can all still be Man United fans. The players can't be players for Man United in 50 years' time. They have a limited time period. And all I'm seeing is this nonsense. The media trying to twist things. Pogba's challenging the quality of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Rashford wants assurances and he's unhappy that Ole's the manager. No. All of that's been debunked by the representatives. It's all been debunked publicly. The media are just trying to feed into this mob mentality that fans of all clubs, you've seen it on United Stand, we've seen it on AFTV when they want to manage it out. The media are trying to help drum up that again because they make money from that. They write the Rashford story is a prime example. Right, Man United fans are angry at Rashford at the moment. So let's write an inflammatory story that isn't true about him, demanding huge money, which he's never demanded, and also challenging Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Look, the Sun wrote this, and the amount of Man United fans are ignoring that fact and attacking Rashford. Equally, the brother of Rashford, who's also his agent, has come out and completely debunked it, completely dispelled it, and said this is completely made up and untrue. But these people, the media know that fans will ignore that fact because they want it to be true. They want what the Sun have produced and published on Rashford to be true. So they'll ignore the source and they'll ignore the facts. And that's what they're doing here with Paul Pogba. The amount of Man United fans that are angry with him, they are not going to look at this transfer request from a professional point of view in Pogba's eyes. They're not going to look at it from the fact that the club is being run like trash. They might even attack Ole. Oh, see, I told you we shouldn't have had Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as manager. Players don't want to be here. No. Players are refusing new contracts. Players are putting in transfer requests because they're unhappy with the way the club is being run. Woodward and the board and the owners. And me, like thousands of other Man United fans, have been screaming about this for a long, long time. And for me, the fanzines, the huge fan channels, the big social media accounts, they are not doing enough, in my opinion, of going after the Glazers, going after the Woodwards of this world. I don't quite know why. Maybe there's mutual connections. Maybe there are, access to clubs. Maybe there are, mutual sponsors that are involved that stop them from being able to boycott, stop them from being able to challenge them. And for me, more needs to be done, because this is nothing to do with Ollie. Look, we know there were some major behavioural issues with Jose Mourinho. He threw his toys out the pram. He acted petulantly, unprofessionally. But this isn't about the managers. This isn't about... player power is part of what they've created at the club, no doubt. But it's got to a stage now where individuals are thinking, why am I staying here? Why am I going to waste my career at a club that's being run like trash? And until the fans skip through what the tabloids are saying, they're always going to make it player versus manager, player versus manager, player versus manager. It's not. It's the board versus fans. But we're being sold a secondary narrative that we feed into, that creates the headlines, that gets the views, gets the clicks, and it's wrong. And it is a big bombshell. I'm gutted that Paul Pogba has handed in a transfer request. But I'm even more frustrated that Woodward is blocking this at the behest of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's going to make Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job twice as difficult. When you're trying to rebuild a culture, when you're trying to rebuild morale within a squad, it is almost impossible to do that when you have a number of players within your ranks who do not want to be there, that do not trust the direction the club is going in. And I understand why they feel that way. So you have to move those individuals on, bring in new people. But the problem is, what's made even harder is that if we're trying to reform the principles, the standards, the culture, but Woodward is still yielding his power stick. He is still in control. He can still, this is twice, remember, in a couple of weeks. First, the club won't allow Anthony Martial to be sold, no matter how insubordinate, how lazy, or how disrespectful he is to the badge, the fans, and the management. They love him. Now they won't let Paul Pogba go because they believe it's bad PR. How is a manager meant to run a football club, yield power and have control when the players know? When the players know he doesn't have any control or power. And then what happens is, if there is a falling out between player and coach, the players know they're safe, don't they? The players know they're safe, especially if they're friends with one of the board's favourites. That is how player power amasses itself. You will never run a successful club at the elite level if player power exists, if the board and uneducated money men are making footballing decisions without any knowledge and who have consistently got it wrong. There are actually, by the way, many non-footballers or people from financial backgrounds involved in football that make brilliant footballing decisions. But United's board are proven at not being able to do that. I'm going to jump into some of your live comments on this now. Just bear with me. I'm going to get the live stream up in front of me. I don't know if it's going to work. There it is. It's working. There we go. By the way, if you haven't pressed that like button for us already, please do so. It is the very best way you can support us here on the Football Terrace. Let's see, there was some super chats. Let's go to them. This is from Original Base. He says, club being run like crap. Fans, time to act now. I agree with you completely. The United man says, I agree. Okay. This other, so we'll move on to another one. Brent says, Paul Pogba already gave us 3 years and now we're in the same position than when he came in, and he probably feels he can't be part of another rebuild. Sell him, use the money to strengthen. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And I think that it's a shame that what's happened with Paul Pogba, and I don't have any ill feeling towards him. But this goes beyond management, beyond style. This sits in that boardroom with the way the club is being run. You're absolutely right. This is from Gen Pro Gaming, who says, what do you think about the fact that United apparently politely turned down a few of the best sporting directors in the world? I think this is absolute nonsense. I understand that the thought process of saying we want people that understand the club. Great. You employ the sports director, but you insist that he has an assistant or like a next in line to him who maybe does have the Man United DNA within him. Why would you not say, okay, we'll bring in Joe Bloggs as the sporting director, and we're going to have Darren Fletcher work next to him, or Rio Ferdinand work next to him. as an example. That way, you train and teach somebody the skills needed to maybe take over that position one day. They equally can feed into the new sporting director how the club needs to be run. It's not difficult. I mean, this is a very simplistic business practice. I myself, when it comes to my jobs, compliance was never my strong point, making sure that everything was done on a rigor and compliance level to make sure we weren't breaking regulations. I'm terrible at it. So when I run a team, I ensure that my next in commands are highly trained and highly competent in those areas, so they prop that part of me up, they prop my weakness up, and I delegate those responsibilities over. That's all Man United needed to do. And I can't for the life of me understand why they wouldn't do that. It's absolutely, I've said the word already, I'll say it again, it's mind-boggling. The stupidity and the incompetence. And then we wonder why players don't want to stay and sign. Madness. Some more comments here. This is from Ryan, who says, "You're right, Terry. The tabloids are full of fans of other clubs who have watched us succeed for 20 years. The Premier League don't want one team to dominate. It's worth more to the Premier League brand." Yeah, I get that point. And look, this is why on these subjects, I don't really care what the majority of rival fans have to say. They will just throw the banter out. Look, none of the players like Ollie. That suits their purpose in the banter era of football to do that. I don't care for those opinions. They literally have zero effect on me. Told you, alpha still. What I care about is how Man United fans react to the lies of the tabloids and how the tabloids are setting up this narrative now of Man United players versus the manager, and it doesn't exist. Some more comments here. One here from Paul, who's a Liverpool fan, says, What you have failed to mention is that maybe the players have finally realised the manager is tactically inept and really isn't up to the job. Listen, see, you're a Liverpool fan and that could be your viewpoint. It's not what I believe at all. And the reason I believe that, and this is the bit you're missing, it's a good suggestion. It's a good suggestion. Then Woodward is blocking the move for Paul Pogba at this moment in time because he thinks it looks bad on the football club, right? If these players were refusing new deals, if David De Gea, Herrera, Rashford, Pogba was handing in a transfer request because Ollie was the manager, do you think for a second, with the power that Woodward yields, he wouldn't just sack Ollie? No, he's blocking the move because it's going to make him look bad, because the players want to leave because the club is run poorly. Because the club is run poorly. And if Ollie was so tactically inept, the way, when they were playing well under him, they took about Chelsea away from home, Spurs away from home, and there were numerous really good results in that time period. That was done because of tactical nous. The club fell apart later on down the line because of the way it was being run, the way suddenly Woodward's like, no, we're not paying any of you any of the money, and there was internal turmoil. Those are the facts. Those are the facts. I get your opinion, but for me, Woodward would just get rid of the manager because he's done that before. Why would he block the move based on PR? It doesn't make any sense to me at all. According to Guillaume Balaguer, Liverpool are in talks with De Ligt. Yep, we spoke about that on here yesterday. I believe they are. I've heard they are as well. Sun did it. Sun done it. Says Terry, Bale coming to United is more likely. Woodward would sign him due to his name, selling shirts and commerciality. Yeah, I don't disagree. I think that there is a possibility he might come, which, again, Gareth Bale's an amazing player. Does he want to be here? How good how his knees and his hamstrings going to hold up? I worry massively. I really do. MMA News says our worst season is still to come. The season will be poor if players that desperately want to leave are made to stay. If the players do not see, and the fans do not see, internal structural changes, management, coaching staff, chief scouts given the control over who comes in, who's sold, who gets contract renewals. The club can obviously stipulate, and by the way, the fallout that a lot of players have had with Man United over their contract renewals, I actually make the club right for wanting to restructure the internal wage the wages, because it's completely out of control, and there's many players that are not worth the money they're on now, and they're trying to get that under control. That makes sense. But that process only works if you make that consistent. If you start signing the Gareth Bales of this world just to sell shirts, if you end up making a deal with the devil, Mino Raiola, to sign De Ligt, putting him on ridiculous money, you run the risk of the same problem manifesting itself later on down the line. Thus, the players are not going to have any faith, like I've said, that the club is going in the right direction. And look, rival fans, Ollie haters, the media, they want this to purely be, oh, it's the manager, it's tactics, it's man management. This same dribble that goes on and on and on and on again. The fundamental facts of the matter are, the majority of clubs that fail because they're run poorly by the men in the boardroom. They appoint wrong, they structure wrong, the culture is wrong, everything's wrong. And the manager is just a very easy scapegoat for people to go at. It gets clicks, it gets likes, it makes people feel a little bit better. But at no point in the last 7 years at Man United, attacking managers hasn't resolved the issue. Chelsea are now in that same boat. Attacking managers isn't really the issue. They just lost Ruben Loftus-Cheek for up to 12 months, a week before a major final, because the owner made them player friendly in America. What's that got to do with Sarri? You know, we saw 3 managers running at Chelsea fall out with their squads and players because the owners didn't let them sign who they wanted to sign. And Chelsea got away with this for years because they had so much power, they could outspend everybody, build a really good squad, win something and keep rotating it. But now, because of TV money and new oil money in football, they don't have that power anymore. So they've fallen by the wayside slightly because the club isn't run particularly well. It comes back to that all the time. And people don't like it to be that because it's a harder conversation to have, blaming the board, blaming the structure, blaming the culture, because it's a little more woolly and there isn't one individual that you can point the finger at. It's more of a collective. So it's harder. When you can single out one man and go, it's you. Someone says Man United are crap. They are. Man United are crap. Man United are run like absolute trash. Like absolute trash. They really are. There's no doubt about it. Let's do a few more of your live comments here. This is what Andrew thinks. That he goes, it's best for everyone if Pogba leaves. He's wasting his time at United. Rowley here says, Terry, signing Alderweireld, Andre Gomez and Lozano are perfect business for us. Fair point. Do you reckon Man City will get the ban? No, I don't think they'll get a ban. Let Paul Pogba go is what a few people here are saying. This is Terry, I'm a Liverpool fan here. Why don't Man United fans boycott the games and the merchandise? It's a great question. But that's the interesting thing for me, because there's these major like Man United Twitter accounts, Insta accounts, YouTube accounts, fanzines, websites. They all moan about how bad we are at football. They moan about the style. They moan about all things to do with the club. But then they will sit there over the next few weeks doing dedicated articles and dedicated videos pushing and promoting the new Man United kits, right? Dedicated tweets. Oh, I'm going to buy this. We should buy that. We should do this. Da, 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 da. You know, some of them are partnered with the same betting companies that sponsor Man United. How derogatory can you be about a football club, the merchandise, the branding, the commerciality side, when you're either one, profiting slightly from it, or two, promoting it? The two things need to be mutually exclusive in many ways. And I understand you want to have a connection to the club, but yeah, it's a difficult one for me. I saw there's a really big fanzine that I buy when I'm at the ground, and one of their main sort of contributors he's talking about like he's going to do some articles on the new kits. And I'm like, yeah, we really are slaves to the Glazers. And I did the same thing and I tweeted about it. So I'm not guilty. I'm not an innocent here. I was like, I wanted the new kit. And I'm sitting there thinking, hang on, me buying the new kit is just feeding into the problem, isn't it? I'm slaves to the Glazers. I'm going to continue to watch Man United. I'm going to continue to buy their merchandise. And maybe you're right. Maybe something does need to be done. If you cut the snake's head off, maybe they'll make the changes. There we go. Let's do a few more of your live comments here before we end today's stream. Terry, do you think Chris Hughton deserved to be sacked? No, I don't think he did, and a few people have pointed to his poor run towards the end of the season. They have spent a little bit of money for a club their size, but I think they're quite stable. I think it would have been okay again. Look, only time will tell. If a new guy comes in and they're even better next year, you'll say it was right to sack him in terms of the club's progression. But I like Chris Hughton. I think he's a very good manager, and hopefully he'll get another opportunity, because I do think it was harsh. I really, really do. Let's do a few more here. Completely agree. Look at the transformation Liverpool underwent with FSG. Post-Hicks and Gillette era, United were poorly run long before Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Absolutely right. And look, even if Ole isn't the right manager, he shouldn't be the target of the abuse. But he will be by the dullards and the sheep. Who appointed him? Like, people keep... I remember having this debate in the summer with some Man United fans. That they will remain nameless. You know who they are. And I kept on saying, why are you focusing on Jose and not the people that employ him and keep him in power? Well, I don't know. Like, it's because it gets clicks, it gets views, it gains popularity. Going after the ball doesn't do that, because although we know who Woodward is and we know who the Glazers are, they're kind of faceless. They're not talking to the media every week. It isn't easy to attack them. You know what I'm saying? It's true. Terry, I want to be rich and cool like you when I grow up. That's from Uncle Mo. I'm not rich. I don't necessarily think I'm cool either, but I appreciate your comment, bruv. Cheers. Terry, do you think that as a Bournemouth fan, the new signing of Lloyd Kelly will be a quality player? Listen, mate, I don't know enough about Lloyd Kelly. I really don't. I don't know enough about him to make that claim. So, but Eddie Howe and Bournemouth, I think you're a very astute football club. Not every signing works out, but I think there's every chance he could be a very, very good player for you. But listen, I appreciate you all tuning in as always. Smash that like button for me. I said website because someone wrote something about a website there. Smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll be back later on today. Take care. God bless.